Authenticity. A word that is spoken in so many different settings, but my question is, what is it truly? What does it mean to be authentic? You see, I have yet to discover a true definition to this word that really resonates with me. Outside of being true to oneself. And I say to myself, well, shoot, I can do that. I can be true to myself. However, research shows that there's so much more that goes into being authentic or practicing authenticity. Let me explain. I grew up in Yazoo City, Mississippi. A small town, no more than 11,000 people was the population back in 1981 when I was born. And man, how I love that little town. The people so friendly, and everybody knows everybody. No such thing as making eye contact and not offering up a friendly, hey, how y'all doing? Or, hey, how's your mom and pa doing? You know, they just really invested in that moment. How could I forget? The air, y'all, how it smelled of deep fried chicken, buttermilk biscuits, and some deep fried okra. Yes, indeed. And that was from the local convenience store called the Junior Food Mart. And man, oh man, oh man. And I can't forget about those dirt roads. If you ever make it down south, them dirt roads with ditches on each side and no sidewalks. I remember walking those streets with my mom and my siblings. You see, we didn't have a car. Well, not until my dad would come around and decide to be a dad for a day did we have a vehicle. But I learned that I needed to really, really focus on whether or not my father wanted to truly be in my life or whether or not he was just a stand-in. I witnessed poverty and abuse firsthand from my father. I watched as my mother was abused physically, mentally, verbally, and emotionally. And so much so, as a little girl, I would sit in my room, sit on the side of my bed and wonder whether or not my mama would actually come back to us after my dad would beat her till she would become unconscious. After all, being punched in your face until your teeth would fall into your hand, and being kicked in your stomach repeatedly while carrying your unborn child, and being told you'd never be more than the dirt in which she laid. This is what love looked like in a house that was supposed to be a home, my home. Pain, hurt, anguish, never enough, always in want. When you come from a household that has painful, abusive, and even astonishing dysfunction taking place behind closed doors, you learn real fast this saying that my mom would oftentimes share with us as kids. I'm sure you can resonate. What goes on in this house stays in this house. I learned in my youth to act out my feelings rather than actually feel them. As I got a little bit older, into my teenage years, those feelings of conformity only intensified as I searched all over the place for security and love in all the wrong places. Even to the extreme of prostitution, selling my body at the age of 15 years old just to feel valued and loved by somebody. Always being the only brown girl, black girl, fat girl, just didn't quite fit in girl, took a huge toll on my self-confidence, my self-awareness, and my self-esteem. Greek philosopher Aristotle once stated that knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And truthfully, it took a very long time before I really understood what Aristotle was talking about. You see, he was on to something really, really special, something really important. An awe moment for me, if you will. I needed to accept me, all of me, just as I am. Then and only then would I be able to shape my future authentically. I have persevered through some things. Man, if I told you, I don't got enough time today. We'll get together later. But if I told you some of the things that made me feel undervalued, unloved, unappreciated, and unaccepted, if I just remained myself, I'm talking about just Arletta, just as I am. But see, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been called names. I've been disregarded. I've been talked about. I've been pushed down, and I've been stepped on. Yet I discovered that no one has the power to make me feel inferior unless I'm not accepting of my own authenticity. Research author and professor Brené Brown did an extensive research on authenticity. And she concluded that authenticity is a daily practice of letting go of what we think we are supposed to be and embracing who we are. That was so good, I gotta say it again. Authenticity, the daily practice of letting go of what we think we are supposed to be and embracing who we are. So I think to myself, daily practice, so that means I gotta make a choice every day to be authentic. So it don't just come naturally. I gotta actually choose this daily, okay? So you gotta get into the habit of choosing authenticity. But what will that look like? What will authenticity require of me? I believe that authenticity requires cultivating the courage to be imperfect. Setting proper boundaries and allowing ourselves to become vulnerable. It means exercising the compassion that comes with knowing that we're all made of strength and struggle. It's nurturing the connection and the sense of belonging that can only happen when we within ourselves believe that we are enough just as we are. I'm telling you, authenticity, this is what creating the awe in your authenticity will look like. It's gonna be work, y'all. It's gonna be hard work. I didn't say it was gonna be easy. I never told you that. However, it's gonna require vulnerability, transparency, openness, and lastly, integrity. You see, you have to be honest with what you see looking back in the mirror at you and be unapologetic. Stop apologizing for who you are. Acknowledge the fact that when you accept who you are, then automatically the world has to follow suit because you accepted you. So here's my big theory, my grand idea, okay? Accept you and your authenticity, and the world will too. I believe that the world has been waiting on the right opportunity to accept you just as you are. They're waiting on the green light from you. Edwin Elliott, the mathematician, he was a firm believer in embracing your authenticity. He states that by being yourself, you put something wonderful into the world that just was not there before. And ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, I'm crazy enough to believe him. I believe that when I show up, I put something in the atmosphere that wasn't there before. Keep going with me. I'm going to teach y'all a little something, okay? You see, this is what my brilliant idea on creating your awe and authenticity will look like. It's about being liberated from the pain of conforming and being free and liberated just to be you. Problem is that many of us don't want to do the work. It's easier just to conform to what everyone else expects you to be. So much easier. But I'm here to tell you there is something so special and so liberating that takes place when you finally embrace you and all of those extra quirks. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean perks. Well, anyways, quirks and perks, same thing. Okay, embrace them all, okay? But let me take you on a journey. Well, I'll tell you this. I thought back to the last time I witnessed a sunset in a clear sky. We're talking about these feelings of all y'all. I thought back to who I was with, where I was, and how it made me feel. And man, you see that feeling right there? That's what I'm talking about, creating in your authenticity. And what about you? When's the last time you remember walking in warm sand on a beach, early morning, listening to the waves crash and conversate with each other? I'll go ahead and say it. Oh, man. I even go as far to think about the sand in between my toes and how it tickled with every step I take. And man, it just makes me feel so good. But I know some of y'all are out there right now imagining how you could go home right now, pack up, and go on vacation to the nearest beach. However, unfortunately for me, I'm a little bit busy right now, so that will have to wait. So we're going to move on. My question is, why is it that when we think of our true selves, our life essence, and who we truly are, those same feelings of awe just aren't evident? Well, here's my opinion. I believe that, well, have you guys ever heard the saying that opinions are just like blank? Y'all, don't be cussing up in here. Blank. Small hint, we all have one, okay? But I believe the reason that we're not basking in those true feelings of awe and our authenticity is because we have not learned how to celebrate who we truly are, just as we've been created in the world to be. Imagine waking up and realizing that there's only one you, that there's problems in the world that need to be solved, but only you can solve them. Your creativity, your invention, your idea, your solution is what the world needs. You see, we have enough of them and those. We need you in your authentic form. I believe that Oprah Winfrey said it best, okay? She said, I had no idea that being my authentic self could have made me as rich as I've become. Otherwise, I'd done it a lot earlier. And you know what I can say about that? Amen to that, Oprah. Girl, I hear you. Yes. Well, don't fret. We're in this space together, and I'm going to teach you how to create your awe and your authenticity. It's really, really simple. Authenticity is not something that we all share in this space right now, but it is something that can be created. Authenticity is what I'm practicing right now, and guess what? Practice makes perfect. Yes, it does. So, in order to create the awe and our authenticity, you have to first be true to yourself. Is that easy enough? Be true to yourself. Feel your feelings and stay expressive. Liberate yourself and others by relinquishing your need to feel validated. Secondly, live out loud. Stand up for what you believe in, but not at the expense of hurting other people. Don't do that, okay? Thirdly, be kind. Okay, people in the back, it is the golden rule. Come on now. There is value in expressing love and kindness to other people. And I'm telling you, you should connect with those people and then share your happiness with those around you. And then don't be selfish. Be sure to share in their happiness too, okay? That one is a game changer if you can really, really grasp it. Third, be kind, as we said before. And fourth, be present. In every moment, pause, take it all in, and reflect. Prioritize those whom you love and adore the most in this world. These are moments you'll never get back. I had a close friend of mine once tell me I never have to be any further than where my 2 feet are planted. And I believe the self-same goes for you. You never have to be any further than where your 2 feet are planted. So be sure to be present in the lives of those whom you cherish. Promise me you'll do that. Fifth, and most important for us all, is be transparent. Say it with me. Be transparent. Be open with your communication and stop apologizing for being exactly who you are. Understand that it takes confidence and security in order for you to appreciate your wounds, your scars, and your flaws. You see, your wounds, your scars, and your flaws, they make you who you are authentically. Did y'all hear what I just said? Yeah. Appreciate your wounds, your scars, and your flaws. They make you the marvelous creature that you've been created in this world to be. So in order for us to be able to really get into our authenticity, then we're going to have to accept the fact that authenticity is work. American poet and E.E. Cummings states that it takes courage to grow up and become who you are, who you truly are. And then he took it a step further, and he said one of the biggest challenges that you'll ever face in life is to be yourself in a world where everybody is trying to make you out to be somebody else. Sit and soak in that one. And then we got entrepreneur and co-founder of Apple Computers, Steve Jobs, who states, your time here on this earth is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Powerful, right? We could all learn from that. Our time here is limited. Recognize the fact that your time here is precious and perfect just as it is. You have purpose. So, do me and the rest of the world a favor and do away with conforming to what everyone else in the world expects you to be, and just be you. Yes, you. Create the awe in your authenticity by doing what? Being true to yourself. What? Living out loud. Being kind. What was the number 4? Being present. And what was the last one? Being transparent. Look, live your life being the very best version of you. And remember, the world will have to follow suit. Accept you and your authenticity, and the world will too. Thank you.